The Stoics lived very long and learned a lot about both self-discipline and human psychology. They knew that influence over others, especially in intimate relationships, is often subtle and depends on being aware of and able to read and respond to someone else's unspoken desires. Their focus on observation and control helped them understand human nature, especially female psychology. In today's episode, we'll talk about what only 1% of men really know about women's most sensitive areas and how to touch, tease, and awaken these hidden weaknesses. It's not about manipulating men to know these secrets. It's about getting to know them better and making stronger connections by knowing what most men want. If you ignore these tips, you'll be missing out on an opportunity to change how a woman reacts to your touch, voice, and presence. You should watch the whole thing because these important flaws can be very useful if used correctly. If you've experienced these tips firsthand, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share your stories. Part 1. How strong the lips are. The lips are one of the most obvious yet underestimated weaknesses that women possess. A woman's lips are not just a visual focal point, but they are also incredibly sensitive to touch pressure and even temperature. This area holds a direct connection to sensuality, and knowing how to engage with her lips can immediately heighten her desire for more. However, the key to unlocking this weakness isn't just in kissing. It's in the subtle art of teasing and building anticipation. The Stoics taught that patience is a virtue, and here patience is your greatest. Instead of rushing in for a kiss, start by using the power of suggestion. You can gently brush your fingers across her lips, gently graze them with your thumb, or simply pull back before leaning in to initiate a chain reaction of arousal. Talk to her softly, close enough for her to feel your breath on her lips, but don't touch them yet. This small act makes her want you so much that she can't stop herself. Focus on the anticipation of what's next. When you finally make contact, even a light touch of your lips on hers will send electric pulses through her body, heightening the experience. The build-up you've created will make every touch and breath you share 10 times more powerful. This is a key insight for people who study female psychology. Women love the build-up, the suspense, and the slow unraveling of tension. Mastery at this game not only makes her feel successful physically, but it also makes her feel close to him emotionally. Being aware of her body language and adapting your approach to her responses will help her feel the weight of your intention without being too much for her. The Stoics knew that mastering desire, both your own and others, was the key to making deeper connections. When you carefully touch her lips, you're building a link between your mental and physical closeness. This is where mastery comes in. Mastery should plan and carefully execute each kiss, demonstrating not just lust, but also a deep understanding of her body and desires. Whether they are aware of it or not, women react to this level of awareness. Another way to control her lips is contrast. Don't just rely on a kiss to do the job. Use other forms of excitement as well. You can run your fingers lightly through her hair or along the line of her cheekbones while your lips are on hers. By combining various sensations, one gentle and the other more intense, you can evoke a range of emotions in her, thereby enhancing her strength. Arousal. Changing the intensity of your kisses from soft to hard can surprise her and overwhelm her senses. But remember that the most important thing is to never rush. Rushing conveys insecurity, whereas patience demonstrates control and confidence, allowing her to relish the anticipation. Extending the moment creates an irresistible tension, allowing her to envision her desires and ultimately yearn for what's to come. One last tip. Don't underestimate the power of a long kiss after the build-up. Ensure that your initial kiss is not brief, Allow it to endure, ensuring that it is a memory she will cherish. Play over and over in her mind that a woman's lips are the key to both physical and emotional intimacy. When you kiss her on purpose, you show her that you see, understand, and value her in ways that go beyond the physical. Men who know this know that a woman's lips are the key to both physical and emotional intimacy. How you handle this can completely change the way you two interact with each other. A well-timed kiss or even a light touch of the hand across her lips can say more than words ever could. It's about making her feel wanted, loved, and deeply connected to you while building her excitement for what's to come. If you master this method, you can tap into one of the most powerful and personal parts of the female mind and use patience, awareness, and the art of anticipation to bring her closer to you than she's ever been. Chapter 2. The Sensitive Neck. A woman's neck is one of the weakest and most sensitive parts of her body, making it a wonderful place to imitate a guy. This is due to the thin and delicate skin on the neck, which makes even the slightest touch extremely sensitive. Mastering the neck requires delicacy and accuracy. It's not about giving her what she wants right away, but slowly making her want it by making her feel every part of your touch. The Stoics believe that real power comes from knowing when to act and when to hold back, and that's exactly how you should approach the neck. When you move closer to her, lightly touch her neck with your fingertips or the back of your hand. This will send chills down her spine. It's about building anticipation without overplaying your hand. As you get closer, you might lightly trace your lips along her neck, not quite making contact. Feel the warmth of her skin, but don't give in to her desire too quickly. When you do decide to touch her neck with your lips, start by doing it slowly. Even the softest kiss can feel electric in this area. You're not trying to overwhelm her right away. Instead, you're trying to draw her deeper into the moment by making her hyper-aware of every movement. Whether it's a soft kiss behind the ear or a soft trail down the side of her neck, you're slowly building an emotional and physical connection. The key to making this work is contrast. After the light kisses, add a bit more pressure, perhaps using your lips or even lightly grazing your teeth along the skin. This mix of sensations keeps her guessing, turning her anticipation into pure desire. Combine this with gently whisper near her ear, allowing your warm breath to caress her skin as you speak softly, and you'll fully captivate her. The neck holds psychological significance. It's a vulnerable and intimate area that often goes unnoticed by men. By paying attention to her neck, you're not only evoking a physical response, but also demonstrating your profound understanding of her needs. A confident man knows how to balance control and vulnerability. And when you approach her neck with this understanding, you tap into both. You're in control of the moment, but you're also creating a space where she feels safe enough to let her guard down. This balance is what makes the experience forever in her mind. Chapter 3. Around the Ears, a Zone of Pleasant Surprise. People who want to get close to a woman often forget to pay attention to the area around her ears, but if you do, it has a lot of arousal potential. The skin in this area is extremely sensitive, and its proximity to her ears amplifies any touch or whisper, heightening her awareness and excitement. Knowing how to stimulate this area properly can unlock sensations that are not only unexpected but deeply satisfying, taking her by surprise in the best way possible. It's a subtle but potent zone that, when explored skillfully, can lead to powerful rowel. Much like the neck, the area around the ears responds best to a gentle and thoughtful approach. You want to begin with subtlety, allowing the anticipation to build as you slowly explore this sensitive region. Start by running your fingers lightly behind her ears, brushing the area where her hair meets the skin. This seemingly small gesture creates a delightful contrast between the warmth of her skin and the cool air surrounding it, sending tingles down her body and stirring a sense of pleasure. The light touch brings attention to an area she may not often think about in terms of intimacy, which only adds to the element of surprise. As you continue to stimulate her, you can softly trace the outer edge of her ear with the tip of your finger. This touch is light enough to tease, but intentional enough to begin building a deeper level of anticipation. The subtle movements of your fingers, combined with the natural sensitivity of the skin here, will heighten her awareness of every sensation, making her more attuned to the experience. Let this anticipation build up, and it makes her want more without fully realizing it yet. But what really makes the area around the ears special is the way it combines stimulation through touch and sound. The Stoics knew that words had deep power and could change someone's inner world, affecting their feelings and actions. Now is your chance to use that power as you lean in close and whisper softly into her ears. Sometimes your voice is enough to make her feel something without long words. When you whisper into her ear and lightly touch the outside of it with your lips, you create a sensation that combines hearing and touching. The sound of your voice and the warmth of your breath against her skin heighten her senses and pull her deeper into the moment. The closeness of your lips and breath to her ear amplifies the effect because her brain registers both the sound and the touch at the same time. This dual stimulation, both physical and mental, can create a powerful response, making her more open to everything you do next. You can say something soft and intimate, or just let the sound of your breath linger. Either way, the effect is intoxicating. With these soft touches and whispers, when it's time to intensify the experience, begin by gently brushing the area behind her ear with your lips, gradually increasing the intensity of your touch. A gentle kiss behind her ear, or a small bite of her earl, can send shivers down her spine. The contrast between the whisper-soft sensations and the firmer touch of your lips keeps her guessing, continuously building her arousal. This shift between gentle and more deliberate contact ensures that she never fully anticipates what you'll do next, keeping her engaged and excited throughout. A man who comprehends the psychology of women understands that unexpected touches, particularly those focused on the area around the ears, often yield the most. By stimulating a part of her body that she may not typically perceive as a primary pleasure point, you demonstrate your understanding of her body in ways she may not fully comprehend. This not only heightens the physical arousal, but also strengthens the psychological bond between you. It conveys your attentiveness to her desires and your willingness to explore her body with patience and care, enhancing the significance of the experience for her. Meaningful for her. The pleasure that arises from stimulating the area around her ears is both surprising and intimate. It's a blend of physical sensation, emotional connection, and psychological engagement that makes this zone so potent, alternating between soft whispers. Light touches and firmer kisses or nibbles create an atmosphere of anticipation and excitement that she will not soon forget. This area holds untapped potential, and a man who knows how to unlock it can create an unforgettable experience that goes beyond mere physicality. Chapter 4. The chest and nipples make you more sensitive. The chest and nipples of a woman are some of the most sensitive and erogenous parts of her body. If you approach them with care and knowledge, they can give you a lot of pleasure. To get her more aroused in this area, you need to balance gentle stimulation with firmer, more confident touch. This sensitivity can either make her want you more and draw her deeper into the experience, or it can make her shut down if you don't handle it properly. Knowing how to navigate this delicate area is important for an intimate connection. The best way to start is by going slowly. This isn't an area that responds well to quick or aggressive touch right away, like most erogenous zones do. A slow increase in excitement works much better. Lightly touch her chest with the back of your hand or your fingertips, being careful not to touch her nipples at first. This light, teasing touch builds suspense and makes her more aware of the feelings building up in her body. It's all about making her eagerly await more intense contact. If you kiss her around the collarbone or on top of her breasts for a long time, it builds up the excitement and makes the experience more personal and pleasurable when you do start to focus on her nipples. Remember that every woman is different in how sensitive she is to this subject. One woman may find light touches, like lips or fingers, exciting, while another may find them overwhelmed or even uncomfortable. Start with light touches and pay close attention to how she reacts. Doing small, subtle things, like flicking your tongue or lightly grazing her skin with your fingers, can make her feel electric. To keep her guessing what's next, try switching between soft feather light strokes and firmer pressure. This constant change in touch keeps her body fully stimulated and open, keeping the experience from getting boring or routine. But it's important to remember that physical stimulation is only one part of the equation. Talking to each other is also very essential for making the experience better overall. When you whisper sweet compliments about how much you love her, or just speak softly in her ear, you add an emotional layer to the physical sensation. This mix of physical and emotional stimulation is what really deepens her connection to you at the moment. Women are often more aware of the intention behind your actions, and when you combine emotional presence with the right physical touch, the whole experience is much more powerful and memorable for her. For men who truly comprehend female psychology, this experience extends beyond mere physical pleasure, offering an opportunity to demonstrate care control and emotional awareness. Approach the area with a mix of assertiveness and sensitivity. There's power in being able to control the experience while also being aware of what she needs. Women like partners who are sure of themselves. Lead without being too pushy. Find the right balance between being in charge and being caring. Don't rush through these different stages of stimulation. Each moment you spend building up to more intense contact is a chance to create deeper arousal. Trust that the goal isn't just to give her physical pleasure, but to give her a full experience where she feels fully connected to both you and her own body. For many women, the chest, especially the nipples, is a deeply intimate area, and by approaching it with patience and care, you can unlock a profound level of intimacy that goes beyond mere physical touch. It's not just about what you do with your hands or lips. The mood you create plays a significant role in how she perceives your touch. Setting the right mood through lighting, soft music, or even the tone of your voice can make a significant difference. Elevate the whole experience. Women are very sensitive to their surroundings and the emotional energy in the room. Create a calm and welcoming space for her to relax and fully enjoy the sensations you're giving her. Also, remember that this area can be emotionally important for many women. Some women may feel vulnerable when having their chest touched, so it's important to be aware of this. Your touch should never feel mechanical or focused only on physical pleasure. Instead, use it as a way to build trust and emotional intimacy. Being more aware of her feelings and actions will strengthen and satisfy you both. Finally, always stay true to yourself. Capable of. When you explore a woman's chest and nipples, it's fascinating to see how she reacts to different things. As you become more familiar with her body and connect with it, you'll learn to read the small signs she gives you, like a sigh, a change in her breathing, or a small shift in her body language. These signs will help you figure out what she likes best and help you make each experience fit what feels right at that moment. By combining thoughtful touch, emotional presence, and knowledge of her unique sensitivities, you can create an experience that is not only physically pleasurable, but also deeply intimate, leaving her feeling loved, understood, and connected to you in a way that goes beyond just physicality. Putting your hand on her chest with care and respect will lead to a deeper bond that she will remember long after the moment is over. Chapter 5. Her inner legs were pulling her close. When it comes to intimacy, the inner thighs are a very sensitive and often overlooked area of the body. While most people focus on the more obvious pleasure zones, this area holds a secret, untapped potential for arousal. The inner FS, situated near the most intimate parts of her body, can serve as a potent stimulant for desire. When stimulated in the right way, this area can build anticipation, stir up strong emotions, and drive her crazy with longing. It's not just about physical sensation. It's about creating an atmosphere of desire and tension that will pull her deeper into the moment. When you brush your fingers along the inside of her thigh, you start a more intense and emotional connection. Keep your touch light and delicate. Ensure your touch is purposeful but not overbearing, allowing her to sense every movement without rushing into anything. Your touch on the more private parts of her body makes it more intense, creating a mental and physical link that makes her eagerly anticipate what's next. This subtle stimulation directly activates her natural physical responses, making her want you without overpowering her senses. Stoics knew that true mastery is in controlling the urge, even when desire is at its strongest. It's about making her want more, while not giving in fully. As you continue to explore the inner FS, gradually increase the intensity. Start by letting your touch linger a little longer, brushing closer to the edge of those intimate areas, but never quite reaching them. This pushes her to the edge of anticipation, and her body will respond instinctively by shallowing her breathing and tensing her muscles in anticipation of what's to come. At this point, you can use your lips to start adding new sensations. Lightly kiss her, graze your lips over the top of her skin, or nibble along the inside of her thigh. The difference between the soft touch of your lips and the firm touch of your hands will make her more aware of every move, making her senses stronger. This alternating pressure creates a dynamic build-up of pleasure that draws her in slowly but powerfully. This entire process should be a slow build, increasing in intensity but never losing the underlying sense of patience. The inner thighs are perfect for this kind of gradual arousal. This area allows you to bring her closer and closer to the edge without actually pushing her over by maintaining control over her pleasure. You can extend the anticipation, keeping her in a state of heightened awareness and desire. Every touch, every kiss, and every subtle movement becomes part of a larger narrative of teasing and longing, all of which heightens her eventual release when you choose to give her what she craves psychologically. The inner thighs are also significant. Focusing on this area demonstrates a level of understanding and attentiveness that many miss. It shows that you're not in a hurry to reach the obvious pleasure points, but rather that you appreciate her entire body as a landscape of potential pleasure by lingering on the thighs. You communicate that her satisfaction is about more than the physical. It's about the journey, the build-up, and the connection between the two of you. This act of patience and attentiveness not only creates a physical reaction, but fosters a deeper, more emotional connection. She will appreciate the way you take your time, allowing her body to respond naturally, and this level of care deepens the intimacy between you in this process. You are not just teasing her body. You are engaging her mind and emotions, drawing her into an experience that is as mental as it is physical. The anticipation you build with each deliberate touch and kiss will make her crave more, and that craving is the key to a truly profound connection. By mastering the art of teasing her inner thighs, you are showing her that you understand the depth of intimacy and how to elevate the experience into something extraordinary, something that transcends mere physical pleasure. In the end, the inner thighs hold the power to unlock a deeper level of arousal and connection, making her, and not just want, but need more from you. The art lies in the tease, in knowing when to give and when to hold back. And as you guide her to the edge with this knowledge, the intensity of her eventual release will be all the more powerful, leaving both of you breathless and deeply satisfied. The book, The Magic of the Lower Back, when touched correctly. While the lower back often goes unnoticed as a site of arousal for women, it possesses remarkable power when touched correctly. This is due to its physical sensitivity and the psychological effects of its location. When you touch someone in the right way on the lower back, which is close to the spine, it can instantly spark. The feeling isn't everything. It's also the message your touch sends and how it affects you emotionally and physically. When you explore the lower back with care and intention, it becomes a gateway to an intimate connection that goes beyond mere sensation. For hundreds of years, Stoics knew how valuable subtle control was, and how a well-timed touch or movement could show authority and dominance without saying a word. The lower back is a wonderful place to use this idea. When you put your hand on a woman's lower back, you're touching one of her most sensitive areas and sending a message of control and protection. It's a gesture that can make her feel safe and wanted, building trust and a connection. Start with a light touch. This touch can go beyond the physical and make her feel emotionally attached and more aware of your presence. This will strengthen the bond between you and her. Follow the curve of her spine with your fingertips as you move down to her lower back. Be careful not to touch too hard at this point, because the skin is very sensitive. Take your time to explore the surface gently, letting her get used to the feeling. Once she starts to relax and enjoy it, you can gradually add more pressure with the palm of your hand to make a stronger connection. Move your hand slowly and deliberately from the top of her back to the bottom of her back. This movement not only makes you feel warm and excited, but it also builds up a subtle arousal over time. But don't stop at touch. Use body language that shows confidence and intent when you put your hand on her lower back and gently pull her closer to you. This sends a clear psychological message. The combination of physical and mental stimulation will make her feel wanted, creating an intimate connection that goes beyond just physicality. The lower back acts as a bridge between the physical and the emotional, turning what might seem like a simple touch into something deeply meaningful and extremely intimate. The lower back's magic lies in its ability to enhance other forms of touch and intimacy. For example, resting your hand on her lower back while kissing her or whispering in her ear makes her feel closer and more involved in the experience, making every other sensation feel stronger and more meaningful. This small but powerful move helps her become more aware of her body and the sensation she is feeling. This deepens the emotional and physical connection between you and her. A touch on her lower back can make the whole experience feel more immersive and engaging for both of you. Touching her lower back isn't just about making her feel good, it's also about building trust and emotional safety. If you do it with care, it makes her feel wanted and cared for on a deeper level, which can lead to a stronger emotional bond. Many men miss this important point, but those who know how to use it can make a woman want them in a way that few others can. It's important to touch the lower back because it's a subtle but often forgotten erogenous zone that can make her feel strong emotions when done right. By mastering this touch, you'll demonstrate a deeper understanding and interest in her body, which will ultimately be noticeable. This type of attention can significantly transform a fleeting moment into one of profound connection and intimacy. Whether you use a gentle caress or a more forceful gesture, the lower back is the key to unlocking new levels of desire and trust that will elevate your relationship to new heights. Chapter 7. Harnessing the sexuality of the hips to achieve your desires. The hips are one of the most sensual parts of a woman's body, and knowing how to touch them can lead to a deep emotional and physical bond. The hips are both a powerful and very sensitive area of the body. Touching a woman's hips awakens a deep part of her desire, intricately intertwined with her mind and body. Maintaining balance and control is crucial when touching a woman's hips, as the Stoics understood. Your job is to lead her through the experience without pushing her or being too much for her. Start by putting your hands on her hips in a way that makes her feel your presence. If you gently press into a woman's hips with your thumbs while your fingers rest on her lower back or abdomen, this subtle combination of pressure can send shivers through her body because her hips are connected to her core muscles, which respond instinctively to touch if she's standing or moving. Lightly guiding her hips can create a sense of rhythm and flow between you, heightening the physical connection, but the real power of the hips is in the psychological impact. When you put your hands on a woman's hips, you're sending a message of confidence and control. You're showing her that you know how to handle her body in a way that will make her feel comfortable without having to rush to more obvious spots. Like other erogenous zones, the hips lead to more private parts of the body, so focusing on them builds anticipation and desire. If you want to keep her body and mind guessing, alternate between light touches and firmer grips. You can also use her hips to control the flow of your movements together, whether you're leading her in a dance or pulling her closer during an embrace. Putting your hands on her hips creates a sense of connection that goes beyond the physical. Touching a woman's hips is more than just arousal. It's about creating a sense of unity and flow between you. It's about guiding her through the experience in a way that makes her feel wanted while also letting her trust your control. Men who know how to advantage over this important weakness know that a woman's hips hold the key to her deepest physical and emotional desires. By learning how to touch this area, you're not only giving her pleasure, you're also making a connection that will stay with her long after the moment is over. These chapters, from the lips to the hips, reveal some of the most sensitive and vulnerable areas on a woman's body. But it's not just about knowing where to touch. It's about how and when every movement, every caress, and every moment of anticipation you create will deepen her connection to you. So if you're one of the rare men who truly understands the psychology of female weakness, you already have the upper hand. Stay patient, stay in control, and watch how the power of your touch can unlock her desire in ways she didn't even know were possible in the exploration of a woman's body. Every touch, every whisper, and every gesture carries a meaning that goes beyond the physical. Each zone, from the delicate sensitivity of the inner thighs to the underestimated potential of the lower back, represents an opportunity to build intimacy and trust. When approached with care, patience, and awareness, these areas become more than just points of pleasure. They are gateways to deeper emotional connections and mutual understanding. A man who can really connect with a woman knows that the path to intimacy isn't about jumping to the obvious. Instead, it's about enjoying the moment and carefully exploring her body, knowing each part has a story. You show her that you value her as a whole, not just the obvious ones, by focusing on areas like the ears and lower back that aren't typically considered pleasure spots. The art of communication involves mastering not just physical contact, but also the emotions that follow. Women are programmed to react to both physical and mental cues, and men who can combine the two make an unforgettable experience. A well-timed word, a gentle touch along the spine, or a playful teasing can create an unforgettable experience. When you touch her inner leg, it can lead to memories that last long after the night is over. The Stoics taught us the value of self-control, but they also knew how important it was to be in the present moment when you're intimate with someone. This means paying attention to how she reacts, changing how you touch her, and knowing when to hold back and when to move forward. Being mindful in this way builds trust, which lets her emotionally and physically open up. In the end, the key to a woman's deepest desires isn't complicated techniques or strict routines. It's the connection you make by being patient, present, and genuinely understanding her needs. An intimate relationship isn't a place you get to. It's a dance between two people that's as much about trust as it is about pleasure. If you learn the art of subtle control and how to touch her in ways that speak to both her body and her heart, you can unlock not only her physical arousal, but also a deeper connection that leads to lasting intimacy. Real mastery involves not only pleasing, but also connecting, understanding, and creating moments that endure long after the touch fades.